Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on, well, just DC TV and the Arrowverse on the CW because, yep, we're talking about some Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff again. So we are now up and running. We're rolling, or, rock and rolling with the new seasons of DC TV on the CW, the Arrowverse for this year, with Ladies' Night, I guess you could call it, having taken place with Batwoman having its series premiere and Supergirl having its season 5 premiere. Obviously, we will have The Flash starting tomorrow from when this video goes live, and of course, Arrow is coming back next week from tomorrow. So for those unaware, The Flash and Arrow are on the same night, with The Flash being on first, then followed by Arrow. But while all the shows are starting and, getting everyone pretty damn excited for what's to come, it does seem fitting that the most exciting thing to come this year with DC TV and the Arrowverse as a whole is currently filming, that of course being Crisis on Infinite Earths. The epic 5-episode, 6-show event. It's been years in the making. It is easily the most ambitious crossover event to basically hit our screens. Nothing's going to top it. But as we should all know by now, we have quite the amount of guest stars coming over to the Arrowverse to take part in the Crisis crossover event to just make it, just even a bit more epic and memorable than it already was going to be. We have, of course, already seen returning actors such as Tom Welling, Erica Durance, and Kevin Conroy show up to take up their past roles on different shows, or just different takes on previous characters of theirs. But we know there are some other characters and actors coming to the crossover that we are yet to see show up for filming. So in this video, we're going to be going over one new member of the Crisis cast who has just showed up for filming, as well as some other Crisis-related stuff that, it's worth covering. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to drop all of your various opinions and thoughts in the comment section down below. I am interested to see what you guys think of, I guess, just how things will roll out and how things might play out and to what degree. I'm interested to see what you guys might think about that. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're just excited for Crisis, why not drop a like on the video to show support and hype. So the first thing, the main topic of the video, let's just get to the nitty gritty of it. Cress Williams, who of course plays Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, Black Lightning has arrived in Vancouver for filming for Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, we don't know specifically what episode he's there to film because they're all over the place at the moment, so they basically could be filming Batwoman in the morning, then Flash or Arrow in the afternoon, or, Flash in the morning, Supergirl around lunchtime, and then Legends of Tomorrow at midnight. They're all over the place, and different characters are filming. I think on Supergirl the other day, they just had Supergirl characters, and it looked like they were just filming a Supergirl episode, but they were filming Crisis. So everything is everywhere at the moment, so we won't know what episode he's actually going to show up in initially, I guess, until we actually see him on set. But in regards to seeing, that is the important thing. He was just seen. Cress Williams was the only character or actor from Black Lightning that was seen arriving. So is only the Black Lightning, as in the character, going to be in Crisis, not the cast? Because that's a bit confusing, because it was alluded to when the news was first announced, whenever it was, I think at the PCAs or whatever, the TCAs, I think it was announced then that Black Lightning was going to be in Crisis. So it was alluded to when that news was announced that Black Lightning, as in the show, would be involved with Crisis. They really did mention that it was the show, not really just the character, that would be involved with the Crisis event. And not necessarily that everyone on the show is going to be there, but at least most of the main cast, at least maybe Black Lightning and his daughters would show up because they're superpowered. So they would be the ones that would be crossing over. But if you base it off this, it might just appear that it is just, Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, that's showing up. If that's the case, it could be seen as a bit disappointing, but the other possibility, which I hope is the case, is that maybe Cress Williams, who, plays Black Lightning, is just there early, as maybe he has some scenes with other characters outside the Black Lightning cast members. So it could be a scene with him and the Flash or something, and his daughters aren't there. So those actors or those actresses don't need to be there. What's the point of them getting in the day early if they're just going to be sitting around playing Nintendo Switch? I don't know why I said Nintendo Switch, but you know what I mean? They're just going to be sitting around doing nothing. So maybe that's why he's coming in early to do those scenes that are required of him. But let's just assume that the whole show is coming in, or at least the superpowered character. So more than one character from Black Lightning is coming into the crossover. How will Black Lightning play in first? And I'd like to think we might get a scene where the event hits their Earth, whatever Earth it might be, because that's the thing they really have to distinguish as well, is what Earth Black Lightning is in, because there's been this constant, wall put up by the showrunner for Black Lightning about, linking them with the Arrowverse. And now that's finally happening. So we should get you'd hope a confirmation as to what Earth Black Lightning is on. So I'd like to think we get a scene where we see, crisis start to affect their Earth. Maybe whoever maybe is traveling the multiverse, maybe recruiting people or just, surveying it or protecting it, might catch a glimpse of Black Lightning, and then he gets brought in that way. Another question is, like, how big of a role will it have? And I'd like to think a decent amount, but just due to the... I don't know if we're going to get massive amounts of Black Lightning. I'd like to think he might be there for like 2 episodes, or even he might even be in the last 2 episodes, which is like a 2-hour finale, which is over what shows is it? Arrow and Legends. Maybe he comes in for like the big final battle, and maybe we meet him in that sort of area. So if we see him on Arrow's set, then that would sort of confirm that, but that could be how he plays in, and then maybe that's the size of his role, 2 episodes. And I guess the final thing is that after this, are they now going to be connected to the Arrowverse forever? Like, should we expect them in future crossovers after this? And I'd like to say yes. The biggest thing that always goes against this, and I think has always gone against sort of the ease of putting Black Lightning in a crossover, is the fact that they film in Atlanta. So all the other shows film in Vancouver. Obviously, Batwoman films some stuff in Chicago, but it's, once every probably like a 20th of their stuff if they're lucky, while Black Lightning films everything in Atlanta. So that's the biggest issue there. It's not easy for them to just go to another set. They have to get on a plane, and Atlanta's on the east coast of America, down southeast, while Vancouver is on the west of Canada. So it's a long flight. It's not easy. It's not like, I guess, going from Toronto to New York or even Vancouver to LA. It's a long flight, so it's not easy. So that's the biggest issue there, but I'd like to think that they could work in future crossovers with the show, but I guess that's for us to wait and see. But I'm sure this Crisis event will let us know if that's a possibility going forward. And I would be interested to see if we see a friendship between Black Lightning and another character, if that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, we are actually going to move on to some set photos for Crisis. Now, these are coming from Canada Graphs, as per usual, and I will leave the link to his blog where they are, where there's more photos and stuff. That will be in the description, but there's actually some semi-spoiler stuff in that blog, which I will not be going over in this video. The only thing that I want to cover from that section, which we will go over in a second, is a minor thing. And the second part for this thing involves some Harbinger stuff, which isn't that spoilery at all. And we, of course, got that, we at least know that Harbinger will be in the crossover, as we got that official first look a few days ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, to be completely honest. And we got that due to the fact that they would be filming this exact scene that we have photos of in public with Harbinger, and that photos will be taken of her, so they got the jump and put the official photo out. But yeah, links in the description to the blog if you want to go check out the more spoilery stuff. So yeah. Now, the thing with the first part that I didn't the really spoiler stuff that I didn't want to go over that I thought was worth mentioning is that the name John is mentioned by Sarah Lance in a scene with Barry, and they both sort of look into the distance when Sarah says this. Now, I've seen on social media that people think that this is John Stewart, the Green Lantern and doppelganger of Diggle from Earth 1. However, it is most likely just John Constantine, because I think Sarah, I guess she has called him John. I think she actually does refer to him as John, but Sarah also calls Constantine John. She doesn't call him Constantine, she calls him John. So I'd like to think she's just saying Constantine for the sake of this. And don't get me wrong, Green Lantern would be cool to see, but I think with the scene that they were shooting and the looks of it, I don't necessarily know, and also the episode they were filming, I don't think it makes sense that Green Lantern would show up there. I think it makes sense if he shows up earlier in the crossover. So I'd like to think this is Constantine, and I want to see Constantine have a decent role in Crisis and what cool stuff he can do, because he hasn't really been in a crossover. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Now, in regards to the Harbinger on set stuff, they had the Flash there, obviously, doing a scene with Harbinger. Now, the thing that happens is that he speeds in or runs in like the Flash usually would, and he basically stops in the street and tries to talk to Cisco over his communication device, but he's nothing's happening. It's almost like it's short-circuiting. And then he goes, and I think he asks for Iris. He's like, hey, Iris, can you hear me? Blah, blah, blah. And the same thing. There's just nothing going on. So it's basically like an EMP's gone off and the Flash has no communication. And then this bright light appears in front of him, and that's when Harbinger comes down. Now, it is going to be interesting to see how much they use Harbinger, because she's actually very important to the Crisis story in the comics, for both sides, the good and the bad. She doesn't willingly go to the bad, but she's very important to that. And it's going to be interesting to see how they set her up completely from, I guess, where the Monitor would have first met her to now. That it could work, and it could sort of make people scratch their heads a bit. But we did actually get a quote from Mark Guggenheim, who's sort of running the whole crossover, about Harbinger, and this is what he said. Lila Markles as Harbinger is a key component of the original Crisis on Infinite Earths that we were determined to honor in our crossover. So he knows she's a big part. I have a feeling she won't be as big of a part as she is in the Crisis comics, but she will play a pivotal part into maybe like setting things up. So yeah. And the last thing I want to mention is that Crisis promotional stuff should start to actually come out in the next few weeks as the new seasons of DC TV shows like in the Arrowverse start to air and get through their opening handful of episodes. I'm still expecting some more guest star announcements as this filming for Crisis, will be going for a while. So a lot of time, to nail down some more actors or other actors to come in, whether they be from existing shows from the past or new characters completely. They're just, the cool actors to come in. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe a cool poster first. I don't know when we'll get that, but maybe they have someone working, like a comic book artist working on a cool poster to release that's Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it has like all maybe the stuff from the comic book, but obviously it's got the Arrowverse characters and actors substituted in when needed, if their character is in that poster from the comics. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over, thoughts on Black Lightning and all of that, and also some of those set photos. Let me know down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.